Hey, scrappy people, it's Tracy Reed here today, coming at you with a layout in my Life Crafted album using the Cocoa Daisy Peach Ridge collection. And you can see that I have started off camera by adding my title to that tag. It knew it was going to take me a little while, so I just pre-made it before I started filming. And this photo is of my husband and I. We are not actually at the beach, we are at the water park. It's hilarious to me. We spent 5 days on the beach and I never once took a picture of our feet in the waves, but I was at the water park, or we were at the water park together with our kids, and they were in the wave pool, and I took a picture of our feet in the waves at the wave pool. I just was quite amused by that. Anyway, the photo inspired the thought that I love walking through this life with my husband. That was just kind of the thought that crossed my mind when I took the photo, that I was just so lucky that we, our feet are planted in the same place and that we are doing this together. And so I decided to create a page in my Life Crafted album that talks about just how lucky we are to have each other, I guess. So I'm using up scraps from the Cocoa Daisy Peach Ridge collection, so that's why I have all of these paper strips, and I decided that having vertical paper strips underneath this photo was a great contrast to having horizontal stripes on the paper itself. So I am framing this photo with one of the journaling cards from the collection, just using the pattern side, and then putting it over these paper strips that are just peeking out the top and the bottom of the photo. Now, I knew that I wanted to have a place to journal on this layout, but of course, you know me, I always love interactive pieces on my spreads, plus I like hiding my journaling when it's a little bit more touchy-feely sometimes. So I'm creating a pocket with double-sided tape by adding double-sided tape to the edges of the pocket with just enough room to create a rail, which I call a rail, between the card and the background paper so that the card will not jostle around too much. It will stay where it's supposed to. So I just put the tape slightly higher than the card itself. And I wanted it to pull out sideways, so I put the tag a little bit off center so that it could have the card peeking out the side and it would look more centered. So now I'm going to embellish. Wow, I could not think of that word. I'm going to embellish my layout before I add anything. Like the construction of the layout is done. So now I'm going to add in the embellishments before I finish up the other side, the left-hand side. I knew I wanted to add this happy little moment to the photo. Plus I want to create a pull tab for the card so that it's more obvious that it comes out. So I'm actually going to use these two labels that are circular, and I thought that they would make a good tab. And I'm going to adhere them back to back on the card. And then I'm going to take the alphabet that I used for the little square alphabet that I used on that card, and I'm going to put pull on the tab. I don't always label my tabs with pull. In fact, most of the time I don't, but I had so much extra space on this particular tab that I decided to go ahead and add pull to it just for effect. Okay, so here's the base of the layout. Now I can continue to embellish and make it look a little bit more interesting. I wanted to add in the sun, so I very carefully peel this chipboard back up and put the sun underneath it instead. It's funny because I haven't really used a lot of that dark green in this Peach Ridge collection. It gets more used on this layout than I think any other layout that I've used with this collection. And I really like the contrast of it between the green and the yellow. I haven't used this pretty ribbon that came in the collection either, so I'm going to incorporate it into the tag, and rather than tying it in a knot, I'm just going to use my tiny attacher and staple it instead, because I liked that sort of tab look. Going to use these sticker stitches that I've been using for a while now. I don't think these came with Peach Ridge. They might have, but I think they came with the Wisteria Lane collection. I could be wrong though. It's been a while since I've thought about it. Oh, no, they came with the Peach Ridge collection. Wait, maybe. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's Cocoa Daisy. They're from Pretty Little Studio. They came in one of the more recent collections, and I'm just adding some stitching here because I felt like it needed a little bit of messing up because everything was just so straight lined and so perfect that I thought if I added in some of this messy stitching that it would be a little bit more interesting. I'm going to trim this excess off here, and I'm actually going to use the excess over here on the right hand side with what I have left over, and I'm going to put it over the ampersand. I'm going to use the X stitches as well in places. Give the stitching a little bit more oomph. Now, what I'm struggling with a little bit here with this page is the bottom of that left-hand side feels blank and empty. Like I should have layered some papers that I didn't end up layering, and now that I have everything like adhered down, it feels a little bit blank, and I'm struggling a little to figure out what I want to put down there. It would have been fine if I had left the tag a little bit longer, but I didn't think to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this word bit, and it says I could stay here forever, and it obviously does not make enough of an impact there by itself. So I'm going to take some of the washi stickers from the memory keeping sticker sheets or the planner sticker sheets, the classic planner sticker sheets. I have both, so I don't remember which one I use, but I'm going to layer that behind the I could stay here forever, so it makes a little bit more of an impact down there at the bottom. Of course, first I need to use every single enamel dot on the planet because I love these flat enamel dots so very much. So I'm incorporating them. Okay, so I definitely fuss on the left-hand side there for quite a while before I decide what exactly I'm going to do. So I cut all of that crazy fussing out to spare you from my indecisiveness. So I'm going to notch this washi strip into banners on either side, and then I'm going to put the chipboard over it. But then I decided it still isn't quite impactful enough, so I'm going to add a little bit more washi. I'm going to add some thin strips to the top and the bottom, moving everything down a little bit because it was too high once I decided to do that. And I felt like that helped sort of extend the composition vertically and give some balance down there at the bottom. So I'm going to pull everything up here and you'll see. And that made me a whole lot happier. 1, 2, 3. And you can see it extends it really nicely. Almost looks like I did it on purpose, which is always the point, right? There we go. I could stay here forever. Much better. I like that a lot. Then I decided to use the thinner of the wood stripped washi and incorporate some of that brown into the right hand side as well, just so that it didn't look like it was just hanging out there all by itself with no dark pieces on the right hand side too. I just felt like it added a little bit more balance having it on both sides. So I'm just incorporating it in the top and the bottom, making sure that if it's tucked under on the top, it's also tucked under on the bottom, etc., so that they don't look like I cut them and pieced them together and they look like they go straight down through behind the photo like the papers. And with that, I do believe it's just about done. Let's look. Yep, if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I'd love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Tracy M. Reed. I'd love to see you over there as well. If you are interested in subscribing to Cocoa Daisy, there is a link in the description box below. And I will see you next time. All right, thank you.